My friends, you are looking at a man of the cloth who is about to relinquish his most prized piece of cloth at this very moment. During our last pledge break, it was announced that for $250, you could purchase this fine, abstract, post-impressionistic, wearable piece of art. And none other than Mike Buehler of Chalet Dental Clinic has purchased this tie. Mike is a gentleman, a scholar, a judge of fine threads, and I'm sure he will give this a wonderful home. Now, since we are at KYVE continually interested in bringing you the finest programming and clearing out of Yakima and our beautification project all garish clothing and haberdashery, I would like now to look at a far more garish piece of clothing than this, and that is around the neck of my friend Dean Starr. Now, I want to apologize to Ione Starr, who just gave him this tie 2 days ago for his birthday. However, that tie is not nearly as, shall we say, classy as the one that Mike purchased for $250, but for $200, you can purchase this tie from Dean Starr, just recently purchased 2 days ago for his birthday. So, let's have that tie purchased. Let's keep Yakima beautiful. Let's try and do all we can to try to clean up the streets of Yakima. So please, call right now. Amazing Grace, the most beautiful sound we ever heard, and sweetest sound, more even than Jesse Norman's beautiful voice right now, would be for us to hear this telephone ring. We're waiting to hear the telephone rings right now. Now, all of you here at KYVE who are listening and watching KYVE, no matter who you are, you found something for yourself as you've been watching. If you're into country western, there's the sound. Beautiful. Thank you. You are going to see Johnny Cash. If you're into gospel, Marion Williams. You who are into opera, you've been watching Jesse Norman. Folk, you've had a chance to see Judy Collins. So whoever you are, whatever your taste in music, this is for you tonight. And so we invite you to call right now, and let's hear that beautiful, sweet sound of our telephones ringing here at KYVE.
One thing that I would like to mention is, we mentioned earlier that if anybody pledged a $250 pledge, the ladies in the back row would wear their Santa hats, and they don't have them on yet. So they need to put them on now. Can we get a shot of the ladies putting on their Santa hats now for that $250 pledge?
Yeah, they are. Look at that.
Yay! They didn't want to mess up their hair, but they look so cute now. Because those people did make pledges during the last break, including Mike Buehler, we have some trees to plant because we have our wonderful tree planting.
We are doing well, up a couple hundred trees already.
I know. I'm going to take these over right now. We have Mr. and Mrs. Donald Lyons of Yakima. There's their tree. Mike Buehler, thank you, Mike, for buying the tie. Put him in the forest there. And Dave and Rondi Downs of Yakima, thank you very much. We're almost getting full up there. We're getting the mountaintop full of wonderful trees, and it's because of you folks out there that are calling in your pledges of support. We've had, I think, 2 calls this time, and we'd love to have some more. What do you think, Dean? What can we do to get them to motivate here?
Get rid of that tie.
Get rid of that tie.
What more motivation do you need? There it is. It's working. It's working.
It's working.
It's working. I want to say, Mike Buehler, I'm going to bring this tie personally over to your dental clinic tomorrow. You will have it. And you and I have a meeting tomorrow together someplace, I think, and I'll bring it to that. If you're not there, I'll bring it by the dental clinic. So you will have this prized piece of haberdashery tomorrow.
You know, it is true. You stop and think the calls we've had today and in the past week to see this picture, Amazing Grace, to see this film, we really have to say to you now, these programs do cost quite a bit. The only way we can make it is for you to keep the miracle of public television going, and that miracle is that we trust you to put these programs on, and you trust us to call in and say it's worth it to me. It works out like this: about $60 pledge. 1 out of 7 only pledge us that watch KYVE. But a $60 pledge, by the way, is 16 cents a day for TV worth watching, the best show around. It's like they used to say when the kid came out of church, Vic, he'd say, what's the best show in town? He says, it must be the sermon because Dad put a whole nickel in the plate. And that's the best show around and the best cost. And so that's the way we feel. We're not putting many nickels in the plate. And we really need you to call 457-3100 if you like Bill Moyer.
Look at that.
1161 so far. We need to get way past $2,000 tonight to even reach what we were doing last year.
You know, something that might help, Dean, is we have the video cassette available of Amazing Grace. If
you want to hand that to me, Vic? And
can hand it to us. If you pledge at the $120 level this evening, this can be yours in your home. For those of you that aren't using your VCR tonight and taping it as we're showing it tonight, you can have this in your home for a $120 pledge. So we urge you to go to your phones now and call and make your pledge of support to KYVE, and you'll get this tape, plus you'll get a tree planted in the Nile Valley in the spring of 1991 with your name on it. How are they going to do that? Are they going to just stick little signs on all the trees?
We're going to have, we're going to keep a record of all the trees we put in, and you're actually going to see in the Jim Sprick freeway up there, actually Greenway up there, you're going to be able to see these trees grow for a lifetime. These trees will grow over 100 years, and in your whole lifetime you'll be able to see the trees that you helped put up in the Nile for the Nile Betterment Association.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to take a family up and have a picnic with all those trees around you and knowing that you helped get those trees there?
That's right. You know, another incentive tonight that we'd like to talk to you about is for a $120 pledge. We have another person that really believes in KYVE so much. If you look over to my left here, Floyd A. Broadbent, if you'll catch this on the camera, Floyd A. Broadbent has made these available, a set of 6 for a $120 pledge. This original mug from Floyd Broadbent with 6 of his famous paintings. He believes in KYVE. He does this special for us every year. It's part of what we say to you: pledge us, keep us on the air so we can have things like Bill Moyers' Amazing Grace, among other things he has planned for you this year too. So we're looking for a big pledge now, and I think Vic wants to give us another little plug here at this time about Amazing Grace and why he was so interested in it.
Well, I am very interested in Amazing Grace. I videotaped it the first time it was shown, and I have been showing it all around my church. I've shown it to the staff of the church. I've lent it out. In fact, whoever has my copy of Amazing Grace, would you please return it to me, because I've seen it 4 times and I can't see it enough. So it's been one of the most inspirational programs I have ever seen on television. While we're talking, though, about Amazing Grace, we're talking about KYVE, one of the things I want to say is I so appreciate what we see every single evening on KYVE, and that is McNeil Lehrer. All of us are interested in the Gulf crisis and all of the various developments there and the complexities of this international geopolitical problem. And if you watch Dan Rather, you see a soundbite. And if you watch Peter Jennings, you see a soundbite. If you see Tom Brokaw, you see a little soundbite that's been predigested. But if you watch McNeil Lehrer, like I like to watch McNeil Lehrer, you see in-depth analysis, and you see the entire thought of the newsmaker, of the politician, or of that person in the Persian Gulf. And I'm so appreciative of McNeil Lehrer and all of the various ways in which we're brought right into the heart of all of these very complex and very difficult issues that are of such deep importance to us as we watch our young men and women go off to the Persian Gulf. So if you're somebody who appreciates McNeil Lehrer like I do, I know you're going to want to contribute to KYVE just like my family and I do, and do so feeling very, very good about it.
You know, Vic, I'm really happy to say that there's a whole bunch of people right now calling in to contribute to KYVE. Our phones are almost all full right now. We've got people standing up and hanging over each other with the phones, and that's just great to see, because it's the first time tonight that this has happened. And we heard the first time that we aired Amazing Grace a little bit earlier in the fall, we heard from many, many people who absolutely loved the show, wanting to know, when is it going to be on again? Can we see it again? Are there video cassettes available? The whole thing. We said, yes, we're going to get it back on, and here it is tonight, and you are responding, and we appreciate that, because it means that Amazing Grace and other quality programs like Amazing Grace can continue coming to your television sets from KYVE. It's, as Dean has said and as I have said, it is a matter of trust. We trust you to help support the programs. You trust us to have the programs there when you go to your television sets and dial channel 47 or channel 8 on cable. And this is great. We need to hear from lots more of you to keep this going, because it's just an important show, and we have so many programs like this that are really great. And we know that you know that, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be calling us. So it makes us feel really good to have you respond to us like this. So we should be getting back to the program here in just a few seconds. Do we have a time check? Few seconds? No seconds? No. I think we've got about a minute, so if you want to make that call of support, we need to have you get up right now and call 457-3100. If you are out of the immediate dialing area, call us at 1-800-345-KYVE. Make your pledge of support, and if you pledge at that $60 level, again, we remind you that you will be eligible to have a tree planted in your name in the Nile Valley in the spring of 1991. We have the Amazing Grace video cassette that you can have in your home for a $120 pledge. We do have other premiums as thank yous for you, and your phone answers will tell you. There you see the Floyd Broadbent collector's mug, which also can be yours. So call now. We'll still be here in the studio during the program, so if you feel the urge to call, the Amazing Grace just kind of grabs you, go to your phone and call. And now let's get back to the show right away.